Hi, I'm Rich Trippin.
And I'm Tiffany.
And if you don't know us, about a year ago, we went to the UK. Well, we went to the UK, but we actually went to London. And we fell in love with the British culture. And we wanted to know everything about it. And we started posting videos of us going and exploring London. And we posted videos of us learning about the UK. And British people watched it. And they got mad. They said, "You are not in the UK. You are in London. You need to go out." Don't do that. You need to go out and you need to explore the UK so you can understand what it's really like to live in the UK. You know what? We did. And this is us doing it. We are back in the old smoke, the great city of London. We are headed on an epic adventure all the way up through the UK because our subscribers said, get out of London. Next time you come, get out of London, see the real UK. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna go see the real UK. Actually, for the next few videos, we're gonna go see the real UK. And today starts, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee for me and Tiff. She's in the room and we're gonna go get ready. So let's go see the real UK. Where are we going, Tiffany?
Nottingham.
It's the start of our adventure. Okay, on the road to Nottingham, it was the English countryside. If you guys know, we liked the English countryside. It was so peaceful. When we was on the train, Tiffany kind of fell asleep.
Well, that's the thing. It was so peaceful, and that I discovered I really like sleeping on trains.
Yeah, but I found out I didn't. But that's in a later video, so you're gonna have to like and subscribe. I was freaking out because we talked to so many of you guys, and a lot of you guys say we're from the Midlands. We're from the Midlands, and that's what we was on. We was on the Midland Railway, and we was riding through the Midlands to Nottingham, and we're looking at all these little places and all these little houses and little towns and stuff, and it was really cool to see where you guys live.
Yeah, that's one thing I did think when I was up. It's just how beautiful it was, and like if we could have been passing right by someone who watches our videos house, like, and what would it be like to live there? Like,
yeah, that's always a question of ours.
Yeah.
Like, what would it be like to live there? But then we got into Nottingham. We're in Nottingham. Nottingham sound familiar to anybody? Robin Hood. We are in the birthplace of the legend of Robin Hood. And it is amazing.
Yeah, we just got here and it is so pretty.
It really puts you back to your childhood. And as an American, that's one thing I can appreciate about the UK is that basically all your childhood stories come to life here.
Yeah, they do.
Not like in a cheap way like Disney, but right here. So today we're going to check out Nottingham Castle. But before we do that, did you know one of the UK's oldest pubs is right down the street?
No.
Yep. Let's check that out first. This is one of the oldest pubs in the UK called Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem, which is a reference to the Crusades. They say this pub's been here as long as the Crusades.
Wow.
Yeah. Another thing really cool about this pub, it's built into the side of the hill. Apparently there's cave systems and stuff going throughout this hill that date back to the Saxons was using these. It's amazing.
I like it in here.
It's like you're standing in a cave. It's like a house outside, but it's a cave.
I feel like we're back in time.
It's an actual working pub. Yeah. The idea of Britain's just insane. It's like, let's just hang out here in this almost 1,000-year-old pub, and then you know, right below Castle of Nottingham where Robin Hood was. But here's a little sign, it says right here. Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem. One of the oldest pubs in England, known to be the real stop for the Crusaders on their way to Jerusalem. Then also famous for its caves that stretch back into the cliffs below Nottingham Castle. That is insane. See, that's the thing I love about the UK. I really love about the UK. We came here for Robin Hood, and we are seeing an inn that Crusaders stopped at on their way to Jerusalem. That's insane. So this was kind of mind-blowing. And I know if you're new to this channel, I say mind-blowing a lot when I talk about this stuff because I am obsessed with this stuff. But we are really put it in perspective. We are walking into this pub that Knights Templar, and like they sat there and had a drink. Like that's where they was sitting there resting their bodies on the way to make history of what we all know today. And that's like the thing. Like, have you guys never watched our Oxford video? I'll put it up there. We went there for Harry Potter. We came here for Robin Hood.
Yeah, we always go for like the fairy tale type thing.
Yeah, we go for what we know, and then we learn this whole amazing amount of history and how it just shaped the world. And like, we're there for 2 seconds. We didn't walk in the castle yet. We did not walk in the castle, and they're like, while you're here, go to one of the oldest pubs in the UK where Knights Templar sat and drank before they went and left for the Crusade, shaping the whole world and all of that. Here's the thing, if them guys didn't drink at that pub right there, the Da Vinci Code movies wouldn't even be here. Like, we needed that. We needed that so bad for like all this. Like, and I know it sounds weird, but like there's like a connection to the Knights Templar, and I don't know if it's just British heritage or what it was. That's a question I'd have to ask you guys. Is like I'm not, and you can tell I'm not because I'm talking about it. I guess you're not supposed to talk about it, but like my grandparents and all, I think my father, my grandparents, I think I'm the first generation that wasn't a Mason. And I know that Masons come down from the Knights Templar or go along the same teaching. Somebody in the comments would know more because, you know, when you're a Mason, you don't talk about the Masons. So even though I come from a long line of Masons,
still don't know that.
I don't know anything about the Masons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was really
cool. It
Cool.
was really cool. I don't know that much about any of that, but it was cool to be there. And
it was in a cave.
The fun thing that we do is we don't know nothing. We go find something, then we go home and learn about it.
Yeah, that's what we do. Like we get a taste of it, and it just gets worse as we go on.
Yeah.
But he didn't die. He turned into 1,000 songs.
And I know who the songs are about. His real name's William Rohod. The Prior of Sandalford stole his land in 1262. No wonder he can't stand the change.
No, Sheriff. They're singing about the outlaw Robert Hodd, tenant of the Archbishopric of York in 1225.
So this part got me a little bit depressed because as soon as I walked in there, like I was super excited to see Robin Hood. And as soon as I walked in there, I was like, Richard would love this.
Yeah.
Like our son would love this because it was just full of games and stuff.
Yeah, it's like the best place to bring kids and still like educational but fun. I had fun in there.
I feel this is like where it kind of like derailed for me because like I walked in there, it's like, you know, when you do something and you get in the middle of something, you're like, You know, that's how I felt because like all this stuff, I was just
Yeah.
thinking, but like the Robin Hood history there, right? So it explained the Robin Hood story, like through that whole thing.
Hmm.
And I guess because growing up, we knew Robin Hood. One of my favorite movies. You can ask my mom; she'll probably be down in the comments at some point. I loved the Robin Hood cartoon that Disney put out, like with the foxes and all that.
Yeah.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. That one, loved it growing up. But I never knew if it was true or if it was like just a fairy tale or what it was. And I guess it's like, from learning in that, it's more of it's not a fairy tale as much as maybe some truth with the urban myth.
Yeah, more like an idea.
Yeah, and I don't know. I liked the idea of Robin Hood, and I like the idea of that castle because that castle stood on such high walls that it felt like the arrow was important to that castle.
Yeah.
You know? So feeling all that, I challenged Tiffany. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna challenge you.
All right.
I'm Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I am Robin Hood. The stories are about me. I am dead on the inside. At an archery competition. Oh, we shot the arrow through the arrow.
Oh.
Boom. Boom. All right. I got Robin Who. That sucks. Look at that form.
Are you picking on me?
No. You hard bastard. Look at that form. Yeah. Straight up Robin Hood.
I got 150. Yeah, baby.
Robin Hood.
I think I beat you.
Yeah, you beat me. I hate to interrupt you in the video, but one of the things that we like to do on this is we like to give. We feel so blessed to be able to do what we're doing and the things that you see right there, that we think the UK is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And what actually gave us the idea to do this was how many people was like, show the bad side of the UK, show the bad side. And we said, we're not in the position to show the bad side, but we can help make it better.
Yeah.
So we take a portion of every month and we donate it to a charity in the UK. And the charity that we are donating to this time, because I'm not going to say this month because we have little things working, so it's a little fun.
Yeah.
This month is Hope Nottingham. Okay, Hope Nottingham works with food banks all across Nottingham. I believe it is a church-based organization, but they help everybody. If you are in need, if you are a family, if you need something, they help you. They help set up community hubs through Nottingham, outreach for people who need help, who need food, who need clothes. They help with that, help people get back on their feet, you know? And as much as we'd like to say as we traveled the UK, that everybody looked like fairy tale characters and everybody looked amazing, that wasn't the case.
No.
We did see people that had hard times. And, you know, I think last time we didn't really, maybe in London, but to go out into the country to see that much,
Yeah.
it made us feel like, you know, this is something that if nothing else keeps going with this channel, this is something that we need to continue.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave all the information down below for Hope Nottingham. And if you feel like donating, if you feel like you was extremely blessed this month, or maybe you earned a little bit that you can spare a little bit, maybe you can drop some down here. If you know a charity that you want us to donate to that's around your town or around your area, leave a comment down below or hit us up on Discord or Patreon and let us know, okay? Back to the video. So this is something that we have to get used to. right,
Mhm.
was the idea that, you know, these castles are big.
Yeah.
So you can't have a full castle. And this is like, we're starting to learn this a little bit. You can't have a full castle and just use it for Robin Hood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's actual history that went on all over.
Yeah.
So, and that's when we went up to the next floor. That was like when just a whole bunch of can of worms opened up. And I felt really overwhelmed by what it was, because it wasn't like, oh, this is from this, this is from this. This was a part of British history that I am completely unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm.
So this was talking about, as soon as we walked in, there was a wall that kind of told you the history of Nottingham Castle. But then once you walked in, it started covering stuff like the English Civil War, which I know nothing about. And then it started talking about the Luddites,
Yeah.
which I also know nothing about. But it seemed like this museum was kind of set up to the idea of like, you should know a little bit about them to learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to do in our next couple reaction videos. So like and subscribe. We're going to learn about the English Civil War, and we're going to learn about the Luddites, the uprising.
Yeah.
Because that way we can put a little bit more of a idea what was going on there. Because as you can see, a lot of people suffered.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people suffered on that. So that's something if you guys want to see, like and subscribe, because that's another rabbit hole that we're going down.
Yeah.
So we rounded a corner, and going back to repurposing these castles, right? So we round the corner of this art, and that's what I'd say about Nottingham Castle. It was like different, like it was whiplash, the things you were looking at. So we walk this corner, and all of a sudden there's a Monet exhibit. It's time for us to get cultured.
Went to Robin Hood Castle. We never, you know, that was
Yeah.
not a thought to see.
Yeah, it
Monet.
wasn't on the agenda.
No, it was like, oh, okay. Well, and so it was really cool to say that we got to see one. It was really pretty, and I was really glad we happened upon that.
Yeah, it was nice. And me, I don't know if you guys know me or not. Like, I'm a refined man. I'm a man of art. And I turned the corner, and I seen a Monet sitting on the wall. And I just sat there and stared at it. And it was gorgeous. The way that the apple glistened, and you could almost see what time of day it was and the art. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, this Monet guy, he really knew what he was doing. He knew, even back in that time, he really knew how to bring art to life. And just staring at it, and I felt myself growing deeper. And for the first time in my life, I felt like art was trying to tell me something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was looking deeper and deeper in this photo, and finally I figured out what it was. That wasn't a Monet. So there was other art there, and there was like one Monet painting. We seen that, and it was pretty. It was really pretty. It was nice. And I know that, like, there was people in that room with us.
Yeah.
There was people in that room with us, and they could see us just be like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And these are Americans that have no, they are, in the South we'd say, bless their heart.
Yeah.
Because they knew we had no idea what to do.
No, we don't. I don't know. We just go and we just make a fool of ourselves everywhere, and it's fun. So
Art's the only thing in the world that people give me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
no, we don't know nothing about art.
I will say the Monet itself was very pretty.
It was pretty.
It was very pretty, especially in the springtime, and
Yeah.
I believe it was a springtime in France type
Yeah.
painting. And I don't know if it was just a reprint or if that was an actual Monet.
We don't know.
But now I can say, yeah, I've seen a Monet before. I don't know when that'll ever. If you know my circle of friends, that will probably never come up.
But now we can check that off the list.
Yeah, now we can say that we did that. Okay, so this is more up my alley. These are alabaster statues from around medieval times, and the majority of them around the country, because it was considered Catholic things,
was destroyed, and these was one of the few that was actually survived when King Henry VIII turned from Catholic to the Church of England. The way they survived is they was either hidden away or taken up to mainland Europe to hide. But they're absolutely, the carving and the details in these are just amazing. So these ones, these were biblical scenes to help visualize. It starts, and as it goes, it gets more intricate in color. So this is like really base. I wonder if they're all from the same place or different styles, because this one has no color to it. And then the Assumption of Virgin, it starts having color. And then her with Jesus and Joseph and wise men, and then Adon and her as the Holy Mother. That's really cool.
I thought this was just really cool. This was like really amazing. This room. So we was in Oxford before, and Oxford really got the motor running about the separation of King Henry VIII's separation from the Catholic Church. So now you dealt with Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn and all that, and the building of, some of, what was it, Christ Church?
Yeah.
Just as pure, like, FU to the Catholic Church, because that was their original, their plans. You can check out the Oxford video here where we talk about that. But now we're in this room of panic. We're in this room of conservation, and not the museum itself, but that's what these pieces are. These pieces are conservation. These pieces are King Henry giving out this order of saying, we're wiping out the Catholic Church here. Where everything to do with Catholicism, get away, destroy it. And that's something is a reflection almost to modern times.
Yeah.
That we have that issue today, and in a lot of places, that as soon as somebody goes against somebody else, they automatically destroy what is history.
Yeah.
Right?
They try to rid it of the world.
Yeah. They just want to erase it. And so you're looking at these things, these alabaster Christian Catholic pieces that should not be here.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been destroyed a long time ago. And you look at I said the same thing about the British Museum. When you look at certain things, religious painting, you see a certain amount of conviction for the art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you go to that Monet, and that Monet was painted for the world. But when you go into a place like that, these carvings was carved for a deity. Mm-hmm. These was carved for God. These was carved out of respect for God. So you're seeing these sacred things. And that idea is when you walk into that room, is such a reflection of the world today, that even though Catholicism, and how we refer to as Catholicism and Christianity, even though they're both Christian faiths, we would say, the Catholics and the Protestants, even though the Catholics and the Protestants are so similar, they was willing to destroy things that told the same exact story that we believe in, that they believe in, over pride and just over power. Mm-hmm. And that's just so amazing how a person could do that. Yeah.
Like it's just mind blowing that they would do that, meaning like it's still telling the same story of Jesus, and it's just.
Yeah, it was solely because it was Catholic.
Yeah.
And that's
it's just power.
That's such a reflection of the world today.
Yeah.
And you guys know, we're Christians. But I look at that as the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. And even still today, we want to chastise, or we want to hurt, or we want to break something that is just so slightly different than us.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
No. And that's even when 99% of it's the same, we want to fight over that 1%. Mm-hmm. And that's what that room kind of felt like to me.
Yeah.
So just using a little imagination. We're over here. We're in Nottingham Castle. Up here, the Kings just called for a big archery tournament. And you're looking out over here or over in this land, but I'm assuming maybe this pitch right here, that all the local town folk are gathered. And there's that wanted picture for Robin Hood and his band of merry men. And you look out here and you see somebody who's in a disguise, who's just an absolute expert at shooting archery, and you just visualize the whole thing in your head just being here. Such an amazing thing.
We were on such a time schedule. I wanted to walk around Nottingham and actually get a feel of the town.
Yeah.
But we had to go eat somewhere that you guys told us not to eat. You guys literally just told us. It was like the Jelly Eel thing. You guys told us don't go there. But was you right? You're going to have to check out in the next video. We want to thank all our Patreon members. All of you guys. Names listed up here. John, Smear Campaign. Lynn, we love you. We love your smear campaign. We appreciate all the support. If you want to be a Patreon and help out the channel, see more of this and watch Americans learn.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. We learn. I'm Rich.
And I'm Tiffany.
That was Nottingham Castle. Day 1 of tripping through the UK.